Picture a seed resting in the palm of your hand. It's small, ordinary, almost invisible in its power, but within that seed lies the potential for an entire tree, branches, fruits, roots that go deep. Most people look at that seed in doubt. Doubt that something so tiny could ever become something so grand, and that's exactly how they see their own lives. They look at their current reality, the bank balance, the emotional weight, the silent struggles, and they doubt. They doubt that something buried within could grow into a life of abundance. But what if there's a principle, a silent law that connects the invisible to the visible? A vibrational code that turns thought into form, faith into matter, emotion into money. What if that code is hidden in a book you've probably seen, maybe even read, but never truly understood? Proverbs and what if this ancient book wasn't just spiritual poetry, but a practical guide, a vibrational manual for building a prosperous life with clarity and soul? What if it was saying what neuroscience is only now beginning to prove? Dr. Joe Dispenza found something profound in his research. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. You can want wealth. You can visualize millions. You can repeat affirmations each morning. But if what you feel deep inside is lack, if your body is still used to fear or doubt, then that's what you'll create. The key to wealth isn't in your mind alone. It's in your vibration. It's in how your body feels. Even before anything changes on the outside, Proverbs says it bluntly, lazy hands make a man poor. Proverbs 10 verse 4. But this isn't just about work you do with your hands. It's about the inner work, the energetic efforts, the willingness to align your vibration with what you're asking for, because every harvest begins with a seed. And that seed will only grow if you believe it's already fruitful. Maybe you're tired. Maybe you've tried everything. Maybe you wonder why nothing's changing, despite your efforts and prayers. But what if what's missing isn't more effort? It's a different perspective. What if abundance starts with a shift in identity? What if instead of chasing wealth, you simply aligned yourself with it? This video is an invitation to go deeper, to silence the outer noise and listen to your inner knowing, to combine the ancient wisdom of Solomon with the modern science of Dispenza, to stop waiting for abundance and start becoming it. Because the real key to wealth is already inside you. You just have to turn it. There's a sharp difference between what you consciously think and what your body believes. It's like trying to drive with one foot on the gas and the other on the brake. You say you want to prosper, but deep down you feel uncertain. You affirm that you deserve more, but your body still carries years of guilt, rejection, and scarcity. And that's the secret. Changing the mind isn't enough. You have to reprogram the body, as Proverbs says, as a man thinks in his heart. So is he? Proverbs 23, verse 7. And as Dr. Joe Dispenza explains, thoughts are the language of the brain. Feelings are the language of the body. Your body remembers what your mind tries to forget. It remembers the failures, the setbacks, the heartbreaks. It reacts even before your thoughts catch up. That's why so many manifestation techniques don't seem to work, because you think one thing but feel something else. You visualize wealth but vibrate fear. You say, I'm abundant, but your breath, your posture, your nervous system are all in survival mode. This misalignment creates internal conflict. And where there's conflict, there's no creation. The universe reads your frequency, not your words. And if your frequency is filled with doubt, anxiety, or shame, that's what you'll receive more of. Manifestation responds to coherence. When thought and emotion align, your vibration rises and reality begins to respond. So how do you change that? How do you bring mind and body into harmony? The answer is both simple and deep. You have to teach your body a new feeling. You have to repeat elevated emotions until they feel natural. You have to retrain your nervous system to feel safe in abundance, because right now it might still be addicted to lack. This is what neural reprogramming is. Not a theory, a practice. It's breathing until peace returns, affirming until your heart believes, imagining until your body relaxes. Because when you feel something is real, your brain believes it, and once it believes, it starts creating. It's not magic. It's biology, it's vibrational alignment. It's ancient truth revealed through modern science. So it's not just about thinking differently. It's about feeling differently. Because what you feel most often becomes who you are. And who you are shapes everything around you. The real question isn't just what do you want. It's what does your body believe is possible. Because that is where your new reality begins. Something extraordinary happens when you hold a clear vision of your future. Not just a casual wish, but a vivid, emotionally charged image that feels as real as anything around you. Dr. Joe Dispenza compares it to feeding a plant. The more joy you feel while nurturing that vision, the more your brain begins to change, your biology adapts. This isn't fantasy. It's neuroplasticity, and Proverbs echoes this ancient wisdom. The plans of the diligent lead surely to abundance. Proverbs 21 verse 5. But what is diligence here? It's vibrational consistency. It's showing up for your vision, even when nothing outside has shifted. It's holding the image of the life you want with unshakable belief, even in the face of silence. It's returning every day to the garden of your mind and watering the same seed with the same elevated emotion, even when your reality looks unchanged, even when your fears whisper that it's not working. Your brain, like the soil, doesn't judge. It simply responds to what's planted repeatedly. Every time you imagine your future, with joy and certainty you strengthen neural pathways that make that vision more familiar, and more likely this is science. But it's also deep, practical spirituality, because spirit needs a body aligned with belief to manifest in the material world. Most people change their vision the moment they face resistance. They plant a new idea, then dig it up with doubt. They start with hope and end with hesitation. But the diligent one remains steady. They aren't guided by what they see, but by what they feel. They know that the universe responds to the energy of certainty. They understand that the brain needs repetition and the soul needs direction. And from that place, abundance grows. And when this becomes habit, something shifts. You begin to think like someone who's already won. You walk like someone who's already there. You speak like someone who already has. And at that moment, the universe recognizes your identity and begins to match it. So the question isn't just what do you want? It's what future? Are you consistently feeding with your energy? Because that and only that determines the life you will harvest. Most people believe they need to wait for money to arrive before they can feel grateful. But the universe works in reverse. You feel first and then the money comes. Joe Dispenza calls gratitude the emotional signature of the event already having happened. And Proverbs says the generous will be blessed. Proverbs 22 verse 9. Generosity isn't just about giving material things. It's about giving emotionally. It's about giving thanks before there's any visible reason to do so. It's about trusting what hasn't yet appeared. Gratitude is one of the most powerful emotions. You can feel it's the language of abundance. When you connect with it deeply, your entire system shifts. Your heart begins to regulate your brain. Your nervous system calms. Your energy expands in that state. You become magnetic, you become receptive. Not by begging or forcing, but simply by feeling as if the thing you want is already yours. This isn't emotional pretending, it's vibrational preparation. You're not waiting to be thankful. You're being thankful now, so that what you desire can find you. The more often you practice this, the more natural it becomes. The more natural it becomes, the more real it feels, and the more real it feels. The faster it shows up. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine receiving an unexpected sum of money. Don't worry about how, just feel. Feel the relief. Feel the joy. Feel the ease in your body. Breathe into it, smile if you want to. And say with presence, thank you. Let that gratitude settle into your chest, your shoulders, your breath. That feeling is the bridge. True wealth begins long before the money shows up. It begins with a heart that already feels full. Because the heart that feels blessed attracts more blessings. So ask yourself honestly, are you waiting to feel grateful? Or are you willing to feel it now, while things still look uncertain? That quiet decision could be the shift that changes everything. How many times have you wanted something, but didn't move. How many brilliant ideas faded in the silence of hesitation? How often have you felt the urge to act, but pulled back out of fear, doubt, or exhaustion? Proverbs makes it clear. The sluggard craves and gets nothing. Proverbs 13 verse 4. And Dr. Joe Dispenza offers a wake-up call. If not now, then when? Now is the new later, so let's do it now. Wanting isn't enough action. Aligned action is what turns vibration into reality. But not all action is equal. Action born from fear only reinforces scarcity. You can hustle from a place of lack and never feel fulfilled. But when action comes from a higher state, from joy, trust, inspiration, it carries a different energy. The universe doesn't just respond to what you do. It responds to how you feel while doing it. Inspired action isn't about doing more. It's about doing what aligns with the version of you who already lives that abundant life. Sometimes it's a conversation, a decision, a message, a bold yes or a brave no. It may seem small on the surface, but vibrationally it's massive. Because when your actions reflect your future identity, the future starts to manifest now. Don't wait for perfect clarity. Don't wait for full motivation. Both come after you move, because motion creates clarity. And clarity creates opportunity. You don't need to know every step. You just need to trust the next one and take it from a place of inner alignment. So look at your current choices. Are they rooted in your old identity, or in the one you're stepping into? True transformation isn't loud. It's quiet, steady, and intentional. It lives in the small decisions you make each day. Decisions that build shape and declare, "This is who I am becoming." It's not about rushing, it's about resonance. The right action taken from the right frequency has more power than 1,000 forced efforts, and the moment to act from that place is not tomorrow. It's now. Every real transformation requires a break from the version of you that no longer serves your future, not just in behavior but in identity. That version that hesitates, that plays small, that repeats the same patterns under different names. Joe Dispenza puts it plainly. If you want a new outcome, you have to break the habit of being yourself. And Proverbs confirms, better is the end of a thing than its beginning. Proverbs 7 verse 8. Cause starting is easy, but finishing, the internal shift, is where the true work lies. Habits are not only routines, they're stories. They're the silent thoughts you whisper to yourself. Daily, I'm not good with money. That kind of success isn't for people like me. It always falls apart eventually. These phrases may feel harmless, but they're powerful commands. They shape your energy. They form a ceiling on what you allow yourself to receive until you interrupt these stories. They will quietly dictate every result you get. And breaking them doesn't mean attacking yourself. It means watching with honesty. It means catching the moment when the old identity speaks and choosing a new one, not with shame, but with love, not with panic, but with presence. Because every time you interrupt an old pattern, your brain rewires, your energy shifts. A new timeline opens. Start by listening. What phrases do you hear in your mind when you think about wealth? What emotions rise when a new opportunity appears? Where do you shrink, even when you crave expansion? This awareness is not weakness. It's power, because you can only change what you're willing to see. Then gently but firmly plant new words, new beliefs, new feelings. Not as empty affirmations, but as seeds spoken with conviction, repeated with care until your body believes them, until your energy reflects them, until your life matches them. This is vibrational reprogramming, replacing sabotage with sovereignty, replacing reaction with creation. And it doesn't happen in one grand moment. It happens choice by choice, thought by thought, heartbeat by heartbeat, until who you were gives way to who you're becoming. There are moments when your mind says one thing, but your heart says another. You try to think positive, but there's tension in your chest. You say, "I trust," but your heartbeat reveals fear. This disconnect isn't a flaw. It's a signal, a call to return to alignment. As Dr. Joe Dispenza explains, the heart is our creative center and leads the brain into creative patterns. And Proverbs reminds us the heart is deceitful. Who can understand it? Proverbs 20. Verse 9, the heart, layered with memory and emotion, can mislead, but when aligned, it becomes the most powerful compass of creation. Coherence between heart and mind isn't poetic. It's measurable, it's a physiological, electromagnetic harmony when your heart and brain align. Your body enters balance, your energy expands. Your perception sharpens, you enter a state of flow. A vibrational zone where creation becomes effortless. And from that space the world responds differently. Not because the world changed, but because your frequency did. How do you access this state? Not by force, but through simple presence. Breathe, feel your heartbeat. Imagine each inhale bringing calm and each exhale releasing resistance. Now visualize your financial breakthrough, not with desperation, but with gratitude. Let the feeling of peace, freedom, and joy fill your chest. Let it soften your muscles. Let it become your baseline. That feeling is coherence. That state is magnetic. The real shift isn't just thinking new thoughts. It's feeling them in your body. When thoughts and feelings match, when the mind believes and the heart agrees, you become a magnet for what you desire. Because coherence creates clarity, and clarity attracts miracles. Most people live in inner conflict. They think abundance but feel lack. They visualize success but carry guilt. This mismatch blocks the flow, but when you bring heart and mind into unity, something opens, something flows. Something real begins. This is the purest form of prayer. Not spoken from the mouth, but felt from the soul. When the heart feels and the mind trusts, creation follows always. You've probably noticed how some days flow with ease. Inspiration comes, synchronicities happen. Even strangers seem kinder, and other days everything feels heavy. Blocked, slow, but the difference isn't in the outside world. It's in your frequency. Dr. Joe Dispenza puts it plainly. Nobody changes until they change their energy, and Proverbs paints a vivid image. The sluggard buries his hand in the dish, but won't even bring it to his mouth. Proverbs 26, verse 16. In other words, pretending to want something, while refusing to align with the energy it requires, creates nothing. Wealth is not a result, it's a frequency. It's not just money in the bank, but an inner vibration that attracts abundance naturally, and that vibration doesn't come from effort alone. It comes from emotional energy, joy, confidence, gratitude. When you elevate your emotional state, you become a match for new realities, not by force but by frequency. But here's the key, this energy must be chosen daily. Not randomly, not when things are easy, but especially when they're not. Before the day begins, before the world asks anything of you, take a few moments to raise your state. 3 minutes of silence, 3 minutes of deep breathing, 3 minutes of imagining the life you desire, as if it were already real. This simple practice rewires your system, shifts your field, and it changes what you attract. When you operate from this elevated place, everything changes, your tone changes. Your posture shifts, your decisions become clearer, and the path that once seemed blocked begins to open. Because abundance flows to those who are ready to receive it, not just mentally but emotionally. Raising your frequency doesn't mean forcing joy. It means choosing presence, choosing to honor how you feel, and then gently reaching for a better feeling. It means letting go of the emotion that no longer serves and stepping into the one that aligns with your future. Because wealth isn't created through struggle alone. It's created through energy, through alignment, through the daily choice to feel rich before you are, to feel grateful before you receive, to feel free before the chains fall. That frequency shift is the real beginning of your abundance, and it starts inside you. Manifestation isn't magic. It's vibrational responsibility. It's the spiritual maturity to admit, everything that appears outside me begins with what I hold inside. Joe Dispenza speaks the truth when he says, the moment you feel abundant and worthy, you are generating wealth. And Proverbs echoes it clearly. The lips of the righteous nourish many, but fools die for lack of sense. Proverbs 10 verse 20. Righteousness here isn't about perfection. It's about alignment when your inner world is in order. Your outer world responds. To manifest is to embody, not wish. Not hope, but to live from the frequency of the life you want. Even before it arrives, that requires faith, yes. But not the kind of faith that waits, the kind that walks, the kind that feels certain without proof, the kind that shows up every day as if the dream is already real. Because when you do that, the universe listens. And here's the part most avoid. When you truly take responsibility for your vibration, there's no one left to blame. Not the economy, not your past, not your upbringing that can feel hard at first. But it's also the doorway to freedom. Because when you realize you're the source, you also realize you have the power to change it all. Imagine yourself as a seed that finally understands its own potential. It doesn't compare, it doesn't rush. It simply grows rooted in faith. Fed by light, you are that seed. And the wealth you seek isn't something to chase. It's something to uncover. It's already encoded in your vibration, waiting to bloom, so we return to the beginning. Remember the seed in your hand. Remember that everything visible began as something invisible. Remember that gratitude is the gateway, that coherence is the bridge, that repetition is reprogramming that identity, is the foundation. Feel rich today, behave like wealth tomorrow. And keep showing up, because the repetition creates the reality, and the reality reflects your truth. The real wealth is not what you own, it's who you become, and that no one can take from you.